Are you? What's good? What's popping? Welcome to Media Hustle's first ever self development webinar. Now, I will say I deeply apologize for the webinar not being on the webinar software this time around. It was supposed to be, however, none of you guys were properly registered. I don't know how that happened, but all of you guys ended up being registered some way somehow, like on my email list and not on the webinar. Meanwhile, yesterday I did a YouTube webinar and everyone was registered properly for that one. Don't know how that happened, so I decided to do this one right here on YouTube so everyone can just have access to it. So shout out to all of you guys who are on here. I know that there are some people that did not get that email, but just in case some of you guys are here afterwards, I deeply apologize. I promise that this will get handled. And for future reference, I might just make a Media Hustle YouTube. Yeah, I know that'll be my fourth channel because at this point, I feel like this is going to be an ongoing issue because the webinar servers are giving us issues, okay? So if you are here, that means you are literally trying to take your life seriously, okay? I feel like other than doing webinars based on YouTube, social media, I feel like caring about yourself, caring about your mental health and your self-development comes first, right? You can have millions of subscribers, millions of views, run a business, whatever the case may be, but who you are as a person, and most importantly, where you come from really determines how successful you are. We always hear people on social media and people who run businesses come from really rough spots in life, right? We always hear their stories and how a lot of them had to, pull themselves through the gutter and how a lot of them had unsupportive families and things like that. And a lot of them had the most success when they took care of themselves first, right? A lot of them, when they started going to therapy, when they got a life coach, when they started really doing what they needed to do to get themselves where they needed to be, that's when they started to see the most success. So I decided I really wanted to start doing more self-development type of work, services, because I think that's really, really important. Because when I really started going to therapy, that's when I realized a lot of my work started to take off. And I realized like a lot of people don't have access to therapy. A lot of people don't have access to certain services. And I really hope that this helps for a lot of you guys. And those of you guys who do have access, you don't feel comfortable going to certain things. Now, of course, this is not a substitute for therapy. I'm going to tell you this right now. Please go to therapy. I'm a proud advocate of therapy. Okay. I love me some therapy. I'm going to tell you right now, therapy is amazing. And you could always barter services and things like that. You do not have to pay hundreds and thousands of dollars for therapy. You'd be surprised how nice some therapists are. If you really need it, they'll be out here and they'll give you some services. But of course, there's lots of supplements and things out there, vitamins that can just help you feel better, zinc, magnesium, all types of things that can help you feel better. So of course, I'm gonna tell you guys some things out there, some things that I've been using that have been helping me feel a million times better. But of course, we're going to get straight into the presentation. Now, that's why I'm late, because the presentation wasn't working. So we're going to do this a different way. We're going to do this a little bit ghetto. I mean, it's not really ghetto. Like, you guys can be able to see the presentations, you feel me? But it's a little bit different than I normally would do it. So we're going to share my screen real quick. You feel me? And we're just going to, like, show the screen. So, of course, here we go. I hope you guys can see my screen. This is not the way I wanted to do it, guys, but okay. Is this frozen? You guys can see me, but now this is frozen. Technical difficulties. Oh, okay, never mind, actually. This is cute. All right. So boom, let's just press play. All right. Hopefully you guys can see this and it's looking good. All right. So overcoming toxic family to achieve success or achieve your goals, right? So, of course, this is presented by me, okay? My company, Media Hustle. If you guys are not aware, I do have a separate company called Media Hustle where I help influencers become influencers and businesses with their social media services. And this is part of my first series of self-development webinars. So, of course, disclaimers, okay? This is just educational purposes. This is not a substitute for professional advice or therapy. Please go seek your therapy. And this is based off of my own opinions. And also, please make sure that you are applying these concepts. I'm not just here talking for my own health, okay? And also, please make sure that you're doing everything I say. You're at your own risk, okay? Don't come up in here trying to sue me, okay? For whatever I say in this webinar, all right? Just make sure we take a good look at these disclaimers, all right? So this is what we're gonna be doing. All right. Of course, we got through the introduction. We're gonna go through what is toxic behavior in regards to what we're talking about today. We're gonna go through examples of toxic behavior, of course, effects of toxic behavior, and how does toxicity affect your success. And we're gonna do a toxicity prompt. So yes, get your notebooks, get your tea, get your snacks, get all of that, and we're gonna go through some solutions, right? So we didn't do the introductions. Well, a lot of you guys already know me, but just in case anyone comes across this, right? And they don't know who I am. My name is Mademoiselle, right? Yvana. Some people may know me as Shorty in the hood, if you know me personally. And this is my third YouTube channel. I have 2 other YouTube channels. And for the most part, I've built my following based off of my personal experiences, more or less. Many people have come to this particular channel because I talk a lot about my upbringing as a Haitian American and a lot of the struggles I have gone through with that. I talk a lot about my mental health. I talk a lot about my family, their dramatics and their annoyance. I mean, I make it funny. However, a lot of the things I talk about is not funny. A lot of the traumatic experiences I went through, a lot of essentially me being the parent to my parents. It's not funny, but I make it relatable. And a lot of people have been able to relate to that. And that's how I've essentially grown my following. My first channel was a more reaction based channel, rants, commentary, reactions based on Black social issues. But I've always tied in my Haitian culture into that. And then my second channel became more of a Haitian based channel. And then this third one is more of a personal based channel. So that's how I ended up going into this field, where I ended up helping other people grow their channels and basically monetize their own influences. That is the mantra for Media Hustle. Basically, do whatever it is that you want to do, be you, and monetize you. You are the brand, you are the product. You can make money based off of who you are. So enough about me. Time to get into you guys and why you guys are here. So what is toxic behavior? Okay. Y'all like the picture of the snake, isn't it so cute? Snakes are actually one of my favorite animals, which is crazy because, So toxic behavior, as you guys can see, basically refers to anyone that exhibits any type of patterns. Okay, pattern is very important, right? A lot of people have this habit of, oh, this is toxic, you toxic, they toxic, all of this is toxic. People need to learn. Y'all need to learn how to stop throwing the word toxic around all the time. Not everything is toxic. Just because someone does something you don't like doesn't mean they're necessarily toxic, okay? Not everything is toxic, right? Toxic refers to patterns of behavior that is detrimental, all right, to oneself. And it manifests in different ways, right? It could be something that's hurting you physically, emotionally, mentally. It could be in personal relationships. It could be work relationships, whatever the case may be. But we need to normalize not calling people toxic just because they do something we don't like. That could literally just be what it is. Someone doing something we don't like. But not everything is considered toxic, right? So let's get into that. What is examples of toxic behavior, right? So constant criticism or negativity towards oneself or others, blaming others for one's problems or mistakes, intentionally or unintentionally manipulating or controlling others, refusing to take responsibility for one's actions, engaging in abusive behavior such as physical or emotional violence, engaging in addictive or compulsive behaviors that harms oneself or others, refusing to listen to others or consider their perspectives, engaging in gossip, rumors, or other harmful communication, refusing to acknowledge or address one's issues or emotions, or engaging in self-destructive or risky behaviors that puts oneself or others in danger. Now, you guys are probably listening to all of this, you're reading all of this, and you're sitting here like, I know a lot of people like this, but also you probably think that you probably fall under some of these categories, and you probably do, because I fall under some of these. Listen, I talk a lot of shit. I engage in gossip, rumors, and harmful communication. I could be a little self-destructive, risky behavior. Yup. Sometimes I don't want to be accountable. Okay, like, let's be real. I feel like everybody has a little bit of toxicity in them. Lack of accountability, if that makes sense, is also a problem. So if you tell me right now you ain't not at least one bullet point out of here, you already have a problem, and you're probably the toxic one. Everybody could at least see something right here in themselves right here. Like, at least at one given point in time. Maybe not now, but at least at one given point in time. You fall under one of these categories, right? Now, when you fall under the toxic bracket, now there's toxic behavior and then there's toxic persons, right? Is when you're consistently doing this all the time. You don't see anything wrong with it, and then you're affecting other people around you. And then they're calling you out on it, and you don't care to change. A lot of you have people like this around you, right? A lot of you have people like this who essentially don't give a shit that they're doing this to you, or they don't even know that they're doing this to you, either because they're not self-aware, or they just really don't care, or they've been coddled so much to the point where they just really are used to doing this type of shit to people. They're just, so it's like they don't know how to stop. It's just normalized behavior to them. So I want you guys to hold on to that. Are you this person that does this consistently? Are you this type of person that just exhibits this behavior sometimes? Are you just perfect and you don't? Or do you have people like this in your life? So just hold on to that thought. So how does toxic behavior affect us, right? So it is important to recognize toxic behavior, okay? Because at the end of the day, toxic behavior is like a concept. Sometimes it spreads, sometimes it stays in one spot. Sometimes it could be benign, like a tumor, right? Sometimes sometimes cancers are benign, sometimes it's a tumor, and it's a benign tumor. Sometimes it needs to be cut out, sometimes it spreads, right? The problem with toxic behavior is sometimes you could recognize it. Sometimes it goes unnoticed, just like cancer, right? You have cancer, you go to the doctor and they tell you, oh, you've had this forever. Oh, it just happened. Okay, we can save you. But some people are so toxic. Some of us have some toxic behaviors where it's like, yo, it's beyond repair. So you want to be able to recognize this. You want to be able to recognize the toxic people in your life, the toxic behavior you're exhibiting before it's too late, before the cancer spreads, before you lose all your friends, before you lose whoever it is in your life that's really exhibiting this behavior, and you just can't repair that friendship or that relationship. Okay, you have to take steps to protect your energy. Your emotional well-being is very, very important. And if that relationship that you're having with whoever it is being toxic to you is that important to you, you want to be able to address it if you care. That's another thing a lot of people don't really like to talk about, because I feel like a lot of us are always in fix it mode. Like, fix it. That's my friend. That's my boyfriend. That's my girlfriend. You don't always have to fix things. Sometimes you can just let it die. Okay? And sometimes it's okay to let it die. So what does toxic behavior do to you? I know all of us can relate to this, okay? Personally, I'm Captain Cut It Off. But as you guys can see on the screen, you will be stressed. You will have anxiety, okay? We already know everybody on social media thinks they have an anxiety disorder. There is a difference between having anxiety and having an anxiety disorder. Everybody out here got an anxiety disorder, but they ain't never been to a therapist's office to be diagnosed. It doesn't make any sense, okay? A lot of y'all don't have anxiety, okay? A lot of you guys do not have an anxiety disorder whatsoever. A lot of you guys are just stressed as fuck because you have the wrong people around you. Okay, I'm just going to say what it is. Like, that's just legit what it is. Having toxic people around you will cause you to have legit anxiety. It probably is an anxiety disorder, but you're going to be anxious all the time. Brings us to the next point. Low self-esteem. If you have someone breathing down your neck all the time telling you that you're ugly, that you're stupid, that you're horrible, that you want to mount anything, you're going to have low self-esteem. on top of your anxious behavior. You're going to have unhealthy relationships, not even just with that person, but with everyone else, because you're going to, what was the last thing I just said? Have low self-esteem. You're not going to feel confident in yourself. Okay, you're anxious, you have low self-esteem. Of course, all of your relationships are going to be unhealthy. Then that's going to affect your physical health, because now, since you're anxious, you can't sleep. You can't sleep, you can't eat, you can't do anything, you can't function well. It affects your relationships. And then it trickles down to your physical health. A lot of people will be on this whole team no sleep, da 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 da. You don't sleep, you don't eat, whatever. It starts to affect everything. All of this trickles down. Then you start to have negative coping mechanism. If you cannot cope with anything in your life, everything just starts to break down. Okay? And I know as you guys are looking at the screen, you guys are like, oh my God, like that's probably the source of everything in my life. This is why I can't do this. I can't go to the gym. I can't have healthy relationships. This is why, my life is going to hell. It's like, yeah, I don't understand how many times I got to tell you guys, cut these people off. A lot of you guys write into my segment, my The Mafia Speak segments. And you're like, oh, I have this friend that I got writing me 10-page letters about, I got this toxic boyfriend. I got this toxic friend. My mother's this, my dad is that, my cousin is this. And it's like, why are you writing me a 10-page letter about how horrible this person is when all you have to do is cut them off? And I understand it's easier said than done, but why sit here and decline your health for people? Now, I understand a lot of people in my life are stressful, but like not to this point where it's like declining my health. Like my parents are stressful, but not to the point where like my health is diminishing. Like my parents make me laugh way more than they stress me out. And if anything, their stressful stories are making me money because I can make videos about it. So it's just like, if the bad is outweighing the good, they gotta fucking go. Okay, that's just what it's gonna be. All right. And then of course, all of these are going to start impacting your career. You're gonna start being late for work. You're going to start not being able to do your work. You're not going to be able to focus on anything outside of work. So any type of dreams, aspirations, entrepreneurship goals you had, entrepreneurship where? Okay, then you start making excuses. Oh, I don't have time. You have plenty of time. But instead of dealing with what you have to deal with, you're sitting there scrolling on TikTok, making excuses, bitching, crying, and complaining, going to the club, wasting your money on drinks, doing all the shit that you shouldn't be doing. And of course, you end up being emotionally exhausted by all of this. Hence why in the beginning of this, I said, not only is this not a substitute for therapy, but you need to go to therapy if you feel any of this that I've explained. Because toxic family, toxic friendships, toxic relationships will literally be the death of you. Okay? And I know some people, okay, some of y'all strong as hell, but you can only be strong for so long. Okay? Take care of yourselves, y'all. So remember, all right, toxicity can have a significant impact on your success. All right, if you leave toxic people around you, it's kind of like being in quicksand. That's the best way to explain it, right? If you've ever been in quicksand, I've never been in quicksand, but I mean, I see it on movies, right? So we're just gonna act like we've all been in quicksand. All right, so quicksand, it's hard to get out of. You just keep going and go, like you just keep sinking. There's almost no way out unless someone pulls you out. But in this case, you're going to have to pull yourself out or actually find a way to care to get yourself out. Once you get in there, it's almost impossible to get yourself out. So in order to achieve success, it's important to surround yourself with positivity and cultivate the healthy relationships. And you have to really start by addressing it, either with yourself or with those people. And I know a lot of people do not like confrontation. A lot of people also think that everyone was raised like them and everyone's grown, they should know what they did. This is the most toxic shit I can't stand people that think like this, because it's not that simple. Not everyone was raised as you. Not everyone was raised like you. And also you need to take into consideration that a lot of toxic people don't know they're toxic. Even when I was at my most toxic, I didn't even know I was being toxic. I just thought I was being real as shit. And even sometimes some people be like, nah, like you was just being rah-rah, like, and I still look at it like, no, like I was really a bitch, but it is what it is. My dad was raised like just like you. And at the end of the day, some people may really just not understand where you're coming from. And that's okay. As long as you said your piece, that's all that really matters. So how does it exactly affect your success, right? So it will mess up your decision making. Point blank period, right? If you have someone always telling you that you're not good enough, always telling you what to do and how to do it, what makes you think that you're going to be able to operate at your highest frequency? Just really think about it. How will you operate at your highest frequency if you always have negative people around you, toxic people around you making decisions? Just really think. Now think about how productive you'll be if you have those same people around you. And then think about the positive relationships you have around you. Because if you're not able to think straight, if you're not able to be happy, and you have all of this stuff weighing you down, mind you, these are the people that live in your house, right? We're talking about toxic family mainly, right? I know sometimes I'm saying friends and relationships, I'm kind of just grouping it all in, but this is mainly about toxic family. These are people that raised you. These are siblings, these are cousins, aunties, uncles, right? These are mainly people that live in your house or around your house that you see kind of frequently. These are supposed to be people that you trust, people that raised you, people that are in close proximity with you quite frequently. If these are the people that you're supposed to trust that technically aren't the best to you, your lack of judgment right there, it's messed up. Your judgment's crowded. You're not going to be productive. The relationship that you have with positive people is going to be messed up because you're not going to trust them. How can you trust the positive relationships when you can't even trust your closest relationships? And eventually you're going to start feeling burnt out because you're just going to be exhausted. Okay, you're going to feel like you don't even know what to do because consistently you're being pulled in different directions and you just don't even know how to feel. Now, of course, we have to understand that toxicity and your success goes hand in hand. This is why, if you ever notice, the most successful people in your life don't even scroll on their news feeds. Fun fact, I don't scroll on my news feed. If you ever see me like something on your stuff, that's because literally I probably only scroll to the first 10. My news feed consists of dancing kids, babies, and animals, and then the people that I know in my personal life. I don't follow nobody that I don't know in my personal life that I haven't personally met. I follow very few celebrities and people that I just really like certain artists, but not even famous artists, just people that I come across. I'm like, oh my God, I really enjoy their content. And there's certain subscribers that I meet in real life, I'll follow them back. And for whatever reason, if you're not the first 10 to 20 people that I scroll past, that's it. Because social media can be extremely toxic. I don't have time for that shit. I post my shit and I go. I live in my notifications. I've been doing that for years now because it's just too much going on. I don't really give a fuck about what's going on in Florida, what's going on in Georgia, what's going on in Washington, because at the end of the day, if I'm not making money from it, if I'm not making content, why do I need to know? What does it do for me? Absolutely nothing. And mind you, this is coming from a broadcast journalism / public relations major. I'm supposed to keep up with the news. I'm supposed to care about what the fuck is going on outside. I don't give a fuck. Because at the end of the day, it does not make me money. It's consuming useless information. I do not care about what's going on. I've never, ever been stuck scrolling on TikTok a day in my life. Never been stuck scrolling on shorts a day in my life. Useless information. All of that stuff is just useless. This is why I'm very, very careful of who I follow on social media. Even if I know you, if you posting a bunch of crap, I'm literally going to mute you. Why? Because I don't need to see it. Okay? All of that toxic stuff, it limits your growth. Okay? It will cause you health issues and it will reduce your confidence. When people sit here and they're like, oh, I feel low vibrational, whatever, it's okay, because you guys are following all of this stuff that you don't need. You're following all these IG baddies that are making you feel horrible about your bodies. You're following all of these people telling you that you need an alpha male or a man with 6 figures to make you happy, when in actuality, you're not going to find a man like that. It's very difficult. You're sitting here and you're following people that are telling you that black women are ugly and you're a black woman. Make it make sense. Don't follow stuff like that. Don't follow the shade room when you know the shade room posts a bunch of horrible things. And it's the same thing with the people that you hold in your life. Why are you hanging around people that you know don't like you? Why are you hanging around people or keeping people close in your life when you know that they're toxic. You got to treat everything like that in your life the same. All right. Understand toxicity and success in your life go hand in hand. So it's time for the prompt. Let me give you guys a moment to get your notebooks. And while we do that, we're going to look at the comments real quick. Shall. Whew. Yo, I don't know why I'm drinking cranberry juice out of a mug, but I just didn't feel like, what you call it? Excuse me, guys. Out of a mug, but cranberry juice out of a mug is rocking. Oh my God. Hi, guys. Oh, y'all so nice. One day I'll be a life coach. I thought about getting my life coach certification, but too much work. I need to stop going to school. I'm a serial school person. All right, guys. We're going to get into the prompt now. Hope you guys got a notebook. Woo! And shout outs to my, cool. I said cool. Wow. Shout out to my friends that I actually know personally and family that are actually in here that refuse to type a comment. Yeah, I called y'all out. Okay. Shout outs to y'all though. All right. So boom. Time for prompts. It's going to take a while, but it's very, very necessary, my friends. Okay. Now, boom. Who has been toxic to you in your life? Okay? Think about it. This is why I was telling you guys to hold on to certain things and certain principles. This is very, very important. I've had a couple of those. But maybe I'll save for later. So I'll give you guys 3 minutes. And the time starts to now. You have till 8:39. Who's been toxic to you in your life? If you want to, you can type it in the chat. However, just write it down. You don't gotta be too much. You just write a name. You can write the whole situation. Whatever floats your boat, you feel me? Mm. One more minute. Sorry, guys, my cat is a baby. All right, a couple more seconds. What? Why are you crap? Do you want to come up here or not? This cat. You have a little less than 20 seconds. All right. Now, moving on to the next one. What did you do about this toxic behavior exhibited by this person towards you? Now, think carefully and don't lie. Okay? What did you do about this behavior? Did you curse them out? Did you do nothing? Did you cry? Did you press charges? What did you do? It's very, very important. Okay? 3 more minutes, y'all. Now remember, you don't have any wrong answers here. We just want to basically see how you are handling these things. Are you angry? Are you sad? Are you dormant? Um, no answer is the wrong answer. You just want to make sure that you're changing your behavior towards a lot of situations. All right. You guys have about 50 seconds left. All right. A little less than 30 seconds left. Alrighty. Now moving on to the next question. Why did you react this way? Why were you angry? Why did you do nothing? Why did you go to the police? Why did you fight the person? Why did you go off? Whatever. Why did you do whatever it is that you did on the previous slide? Because that's also extremely important. A lot of people don't ever think about this, but a lot of you guys need to realize that the reason you react to certain things is going to be the key as to how you succeed with things in the future. You have to actually really, what's the word? You have to identify the way you handle certain things in order to get a handle on it, on how you can be better, or how you can continue. Whatever it is, maybe you like fighting people, you want to be an MMA fighter. I don't know. Maybe you don't like fighting people, and you really want to get a handle on your temper. All right, so very, very important. So now we're going to move on to the next question. Are you satisfied with how you handle the situation? Why or why not? Think before you answer this one. I'm going to give you guys a little bit longer, 3 minutes for this one. Are you satisfied? Why or why not? Because this one, you may or may not. Do you wish you would have punched a person in the face? If you do, I ain't going to judge you. And again, feel free to write this all in the chat. Feel free to keep it to yourself. You don't have to say nothing. Comment down below if you're watching this later. Maybe you're happy with saying nothing and doing nothing and just walking away. Maybe you're happy with pressing charges and landing the person in jail. Maybe you're happy with just talking the whole situation through. Okay? Whatever it is that you truly want to do. Are you satisfied with how you handle this toxic situation, this toxic person? And please remember what we said about toxic, okay? Not everything that people do to you is considered toxic. Just because you don't like something that someone did or something that someone said means that they're toxic, okay? A lot of people just like to throw the word toxic out there. And it's like, listen, just because your mother said that you can't go outside with your friends doesn't mean that your mother is toxic, okay? Just because your boyfriend didn't want to give you $50 to go get your hair or your nails done or whatever the case may be, I mean, yeah, that's really cheap, but you guys understand. Doesn't mean that he's toxic or he hates you. All right. We're talking about legitimate toxic behavior that is very detrimental to you, your growth, or whatever the case may be. So, again, are you satisfied with how you handled it? Why or why not? Got a minute or so left. Alrighty. Moving on. What do you wish you could do differently regarding that situation? Okay, a little different from the last one, but almost the same. If you could go back, what would you have done differently? Or would you just avoid the situation altogether, walk away? All right. And the last one, what changes will you make going forward? Now, this is a question you want to always ask yourself after every situation as you go through. You never want to get into an argument, a disagreement, a conversation, a situation. I said a situation twice. You never want to go through anything and just be sitting there like, I don't care, F that, go on Twitter, making sub posts, posting memes and all of that, and then that's that. Always think what changes are you going to make moving forward because we should be all about growth, especially a lot of us at our big ages. If you're over the age of 21, okay, yeah, that's young, but we want to start thinking long term after the age of 21, all right? You need to start thinking, how can I grow from this? What was this trying to teach me? Why did I go through the situation? Why did I lose this friend? What was God trying to teach me by this? You know, what lesson was I supposed to get? Okay, what am I going to do to make sure that something like this doesn't happen to me again? All right, what changes will you make moving forward? Give you guys a few minutes to answer that. All right. Alrighty. Now, how do you deal with toxic family, guys? How do you deal with toxic family? Let's get into that. So, to be honest, there's a multitude of ways to deal with them. But the thing is with family, family's kind of forever. But personally, I'm the type of person where I always tell my family, my parents get very upset when I say this. I'm like, I choose my family. I don't care. You may be an aunt by blood, but you're not my aunt to me if I don't fuck with you. My mom gets so mad when I say that about one of her sisters that I really don't fuck with who ruined Christmas for me. And all my other cousins. I mean, like, that's not your sister to me. And she loves her sister, but I'm like, yo, that lady has made my mom cry. She's made me cry. She's made my cousins cry. She's made her sons cry. Like, she's horrible. She's not a good person. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't recognize her as my family. I'm that type of person. I'm like, listen, I don't fuck with you. I don't fuck with you. That's just me, right? But a lot of people they're very family oriented. They get real butt hurt. They get real sentimental when their family does things to them. So ways to cope with toxic family. For me, I go the cutoff route. If it's really that bad. But you gotta do a lot for me to like cold turkey cut you off, right? You could also confront them. I personally, I wouldn't do it. Like when it comes to family, I don't confront family. I just go the cold turkey route because personally, anytime I've ever had to cut off a family member, it's usually a big blow off situation, and it's like clearly like it's following a big blowout. So it's like I don't have to really explain or confront you about anything. But just like I've said in a lot of my previous videos, you can't just go around cutting people off and they don't even know what the fuck they did to you. You kind of have to explain what they did. You can't just be like mounting up all of these situations and all of these like scenarios in your head and the person doesn't even know what they did because they weren't raised like you. They don't understand. They just probably out here being toxic. They out here being toxiana. And they just think that they're being regular because you never addressed it. You never said anything about how they're being toxic to you. So they thought that you were okay with their toxic behavior. So you have to say something. All right. Ignore them. Okay. Ignore them. That's how I handle a lot of my family members. I ignore the hell out of them. My ignore game is act like you don't even exist. My cutoff and ignore game is insane. Go to therapy, talk about it in therapy. It will definitely help you cope a lot better. Create the boundaries and respect your own boundaries. A lot of you guys, I got boundaries. But you don't even respect your own boundaries, okay? A lot of you guys create these rules, these boundaries, these situations. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to go here. I'm not going to, and it's like next day, the boundaries are not even respected for yourselves, but you want other people to respect them. If you don't respect your own boundaries, people are not going to respect you, okay? You have to create these boundaries. And most importantly, you have to have a solid support system. For every toxic person you have in your life, you got to have like 2 to replace that 1. So you got 2 toxic parents, you better have 4 supportive people right there to help you out. Because, child, dealing with toxic family is no joke. It's probably the hardest thing to deal with. So here are your next steps. Of course, like I said, set boundaries, right? Seek support, go get your friends, practice self-care, go to the spa often, all right? Do them little skincare routines. Go to the carnival, go to the park, take some walks, get a cat, get a dog, get a rabbit, get a snake, get a lizard, get a pet, get something, all right? Get something to relax. Because if you're not planning on cutting these people off, you have to find a way to cope with them. You have to find something. Because it's not going to work if you just sit there doing the same thing all the time. Limit contact. If you live with them, I suggest you move out if you can. I've seen people's relationships with their families improve dramatically once they move out. I'm definitely an example of this. My relationship with my parents improved drastically once I moved out. They're still annoying as shit, but I love them a lot more now that I don't see them every day. Focus on the positive. Now this is something that a lot of people don't understand. You can have the worst parents, the worst cousins, the worst aunts and uncles, but that doesn't mean it's all bad. Some of us have really toxic people in our lives, but 2 things could be true at the same time. You can have literally the most, let me just use it. You can have the most homophobic father, but that homophobic father still paid for all of your college, pays your rent for your apartment, and paid for your, I don't know, transitioning surgery once you found out that you were transitioning to be a man. Okay? And you were no longer just a lesbian, right? So it's like, yeah, they're homophobic. They're not part, they're not down with the LGBTQIA and they don't agree with the trans community, but maybe they still supported you monetarily, even though they don't fuck with what you do. They still call you words. They still think you're crazy. They're still super religious, but they still support you monetarily, right? So it's like, yeah, it's horrible that they call you names. It's horrible that they don't support you, but they still gave you money. Yeah, I know that doesn't erase it, but you understand what I'm trying to say, right? 2 things can be true at the same time. They didn't support me emotionally, but they supported me monetarily. You may have a friend in your life that literally is just mean as shit. Cuts you like a knife with their tongue. Just mean, mean, mean. However, any single time you need them, they pick you up. When you're drunk as hell, you need a ride. Okay, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, you don't got your car because you Ubered there. Maybe there's no Ubers picking up. You ain't got no money in your bank account, so you can't call a Lyft. And you call that person 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, they always the one to pick you up. Every single time somebody break up with you, they always the one that there to have a shoulder to cry on. They're, yeah, you know what I mean. They're always letting you cry on their shoulder. They may be a bitch, but they're the supportive friend. You know, they're toxic because they're mean, but at the same time, they're the supportive friend. Two things could be true at the same time. And normalize understanding that. You know, normalize the fact that, yeah, some people are toxic, but that doesn't mean they don't have good aspects to that. And that's why I still keep certain people around. Because it's like, you know, I don't hate you. I hate a lot of things that you do, but you have a lot of good aspects, right? Remember that. Remember, it's not you, it's them. Some people will be going through things and they'll never tell you. And that's probably why they're having or exhibiting some sort of toxic behavior. They probably can't pay their rent. They're probably going through grief. They're probably going through a sickness and they just haven't told anyone. So I'm not saying that gives them an excuse to be a bitch, but I'm saying you don't know what people are going through. Break that cycle. This is something a lot of people don't do. This is why I don't take people seriously. They'll sit there and they'll be like, oh, my mother's toxic, my father's toxic, my uncle's toxic, my auntie's toxic, my brother's toxic, my sister's toxic. But they still bring their kids around this person. And I know there's some people that are like, oh, well, they hate me. They don't hate my kid. I don't give a shit. If you hate me, that means you hate my kid too. And even if you don't, my logic is I don't want you spewing any garbage around my kid about me or spewing any type of garbage that can some way somehow translate to my kid, such as body shaming or any type of like crazy rhetoric. That's just my personal opinion. Keep your kids away from your toxic family members. I'm just saying. I'm just gonna say that flat out. I just don't think it makes sense. If you have a family that you know fat shames, that's homophobic, that you know, like that has political views that you know you wouldn't want your kids observing, you know, things like, it's like, I don't know why you would like leave your kids with them unsupervised. I mean, maybe that's drastic, but in my opinion, it just doesn't make any logical sense. Of course, like I said, many things can be true at the same time. And do not let all the negative things stop you from reaching your goals. That's the most important thing here. Just because your family doesn't support you, just because your family's toxic, don't let that stop you from doing what you want to do. I see too many people use that shit as an excuse. Oh, my family never supported me. Oh, I never had people actually care about what I was doing, so I didn't do it. Okay, and who the hell cares? It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I personally never had the support. My parents just found out about my YouTube channel. You think I'm about to sit there and not do my YouTube videos? You thought I sat here for 5-6 years not doing videos because people didn't support me and people didn't know about it? No, I still did my shit. You have to do things because it's your purpose. You have to do things because you like it. You have to do things because you want to. You don't sit there and do things for other people. It's dumb. You do things because you want to do it. You do things because you have to do it. You do things because whatever your purpose is whatever you want to live out. All right, like, y'all need to stop this nonsense. All right, of, oh, well, my parents don't support me, so I'm not going to do it. That just it's busted out. Okay, it's done. All right, so this is the end of the presentation, and I'm proud of myself because I really did finish it in under an hour. Big props to that. So feel free to ask any questions. All right. Ooh, we can finally exit this. Woo. All righty. La 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 la. Let me look at the chat real quick. All right. A lot going on here. All right. All right. All right. If you guys don't have any questions, I might just be inclined to bounce. Oh my God, this is so good. I hope you guys really like the prompt because I thought of that last minute. Oh, I'm mad you said me being Caribbean and I still made it. That's hilarious. No problem, Hattie Hats. Okay. I really wanted to do this for you guys. I'm definitely going to be doing more of these. I think it's really important. What do you do about emptiness after the fact? You find your tribe. I feel like you make family as you go. You make friends that become family. I think that's just what it is. You can't sit here and just keep toxic people in your life for the simple fact of, oh, I'm gonna feel lonely. Like, what's lonely is keeping people around you that don't fulfill anything, to be quite honest with you. Keeping people around you that are just there to make you feel bad. Like that icky feeling of like feeling like you're worthless, feeling like you're not fulfilling anything kind of hurts more than being lonely. And no problem, Gloria. To be honest, I would suggest in terms of therapy services, go to your local community centers and see if they have therapy services, because these online therapy services, I still haven't found one that works with everyone. So I'm still on the hunt to find one. Okay. In terms of vitamins, though, you listen, y'all. I've been on this vitamin supplement. If any of you guys know, okay, I have this thing called ADHD. My ADHD be ADHD, and as you guys can see, I focused on this entire thing without sidetracking. I got this done in literally under an hour, and I was late, what, 9, 10 minutes late. I've been taking this thing called Amare, and Amare literally has natural supplements for everything from sleeping pills to diet pills to like probiotics. Like everything has probiotics in it. And apparently, they focus on probiotics because apparently everything from stress to mental illness has a lot to do with your gut. And they have like so many things. Like they sent me like the starter kit, and I'm not even gonna lie. Like they sent me the starter kit, and I was like, I didn't think it was gonna work. I was like, this is crap, whatever. But I kid y'all not, it's been my first week in. This stuff is phenomenal, bro. It's phenomenal. So I'm gonna definitely send you guys this link. I'll put it right here in the chat, right? So I like the kid stuff, and I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. The kid stuff is elite. Okay, like the kid stuff is the most like. I didn't think it was gonna work because my logic here was it's kid stuff, how potent it could be, you know. But apparently, a lot of adults take the kid stuff. So I took it and I take the kid stuff every morning. Okay, they have this thing called Kids Mood, and it's like a pixie stick. Like you just put it in your mouth, and it just makes you focus on there. Like what I'm telling you guys is the most amazing thing ever. Like I'm just so happy that I finally found something that keeps me focused. Like all week, I've been walking on air. Okay, it's amazing, right? It is amazing. Like it's literally the best thing ever. Like it's amazing. It's amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, like you guys want to check it out. The link to the store is actually pinned. Well, I'm gonna try to pin it. Then you have the kids movie. You just click on anything. So you said it's hard moving out on your own. I mean, yeah, pretty much. If you've never lived like on campus, it's gonna be harder. Um, yeah, because if you never lived by yourself, it's gonna be hard, especially if you don't have the money. That's the worst part. If you don't have at least like $10,000 saved, it's gonna be very difficult. Because you have to have an emergency set up, all of that. Like you have to have stuff. Like you have to have your shit in order. You should not just move out without anything. You cannot just move out without any type of funds. You cannot just move out with a win. I mean, I did it, but my YouTube channel was taking off, so I think I was kind of fine. And I had a really cheap apartment. My apartment was like $700 at the time, so I was fine. But I was really depressed about it because I also didn't want to move. I was forced to move out of necessity. So you really have to think about it before you do it. You cannot just sit there and do it. Just because, you know, like you really have to plan something out like that. Like moving is a lot. It really is a lot. Kind of left field. I'm interested in your mentorship program. What exactly does that involve? So let me think. I'm actually taking in 3 mentees for free right now. However, you have to be accepted. I'm taking in applications till May 15th. I'm gonna drop that link right now. Put that in the chat real quick. But I do have a paid mentorship program. You'll have to DM me for that one because that link is somewhere all over all this chaos. If any of you guys are interested in that, that's a whole nother thing. That's a paid situation. But in terms of creator mentorship, that is actually, it should be, if it's not linked in the I was gonna say it should be linked in the description, but I don't think it's linked in the description, Joe. Yeah, you just contact me. I just thought about that because I don't think it's linked on this channel. It's usually linked on my other channels. But if there's no further questions, if you guys have anything that you guys really want to talk to me about, feel free to DM me on Instagram. You can find it on the description of every other video, not this one. This one was kind of spurred the moment because the webinar was not working. I really, truly do hope all of you guys got the email. That was supposed to get the email because it's supposed to be like 60 something plus of y'all, but yeah, some of you guys are busy. Completely understand that. This will stay up, by the way. I love you guys so very much. Thank you guys so much for being on here. That means you guys really, really cared to do something, all right? And actually cared about taking the next step about, you know, getting all these toxic people out of your lives, especially in regards to your family. With that being said, have a very, very wonderful night. And yeah, I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Next upload on this channel is going to be on Saturday. Bye, guys.